So the transfer window has officially closed and Celtic finside it off by signing Jeffrey Schlupp on loan from Crystal Palace. In today's video, we will go over the window and get Kris Boyd and Kris Sutton's reaction to the business the boys have done this January. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Celtic refused a late loan offer from St Mirren for striker Johnny Kenny on transfer deadline day, deciding to keep the 21-year-old at the club for the rest of the season. According to Sunsport, the Buddies made a late push to take Kenny to Paisley on loan, but Celtic opted against sanctioning the move, leaving him as backup to Adam Idah in Brendan Rodgers' squad. Kenny spent the first half of the season and the second half of last on loan at Shamrock Rovers, with the Irish club also keen on bringing him back for a second spell. However, it was St Mirren who made a serious attempt to land him before the 11 p.m. deadline. The League of Ireland side does have until February 22nd to secure a return for the striker, but it's unlikely that Celtic will sanction an exit. Under FIFA rules, players are generally only allowed to play for 2 clubs in a season, but due to the differing league calendars in Ireland and Scotland, Kenny would have been eligible to feature for a 3rd club, allowing St Mirren to push for the move. With no new striker arriving before the deadline, Celtic were left with only Adam Idah as a recognised first-team centre-forward. That lack of depth forced the club's hand, ensuring Kenny stayed as a squad option rather than heading out for more regular minutes. While a loan to St Mirren could have given Kenny valuable first-team experience, at a good level, Celtic simply couldn't afford to weaken their striking options any further. Now, Celtic have agreed a deal to take Jeffrey Schlupp from Crystal Palace on loan on deadline day. Fabrizio Romano said the boys have agreed verbally to take the Premier League player to Celtic on a temporary basis until the end of the season. The deal has no option to buy as Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers looks to fill in a gap until Kieran Tierney arrives at the Hoops at the end of the season from Arsenal. However, it's not a transfer incoming that has Kris Boyd labelling Celtic as bold in the winter window. Before it was confirmed Schlupp was joining, Boyd said, "Obviously Celtic are in the market trying to get players." I think Brendan Rodgers touched on that yesterday. I do think that for Celtic, where they're at right now, you're probably only looking at Greg Taylor to get an injury or a drop-off in form, and I hope that doesn't happen, but if it does, then you're probably only looking at Liam Scales, who can go to that left-back area. So there's no doubt that they'll be looking to get someone in there, but the problem is because everyone knows they signed Kieran Tierney for the summer, you're going to only get someone in on loan. Boyd also believes that allowing Kyogo to leave the club with no replacement lineup up was a bold move, but he thought that Rodgers would have signed a reinforcement. So the striker role, continued Boyd, we've spoken about it loads of times. I think losing Kyogo for Celtic in terms of his age, there was a lot of pluses to the deal. But when you've got a striker that's scoring goals on a regular basis in big games as well, for me, unless you've got someone to come in, it was a bit of a bold move from Celtic. They're comfortable enough in the league, but you never know what could have happened in Europe had Kyogo stayed for that final game. His replacement, Adam Idah, did not bad that night as well, so I think there is no doubt that Brendan Rodgers will still be looking to get more in because he came into the window saying he wanted to strengthen, and he is definitely weaker. There's no getting away from that. Following this, Kris Sutton has voiced his concerns over Celtic's January transfer window, questioning whether Brendan Rodgers' squad is in a stronger position now that the window is closed. The window slammed shut on Monday night, and going by the reaction on social media, fans aren't happy with dealings in January. Posting on X, the former Hoops striker wrote, "Not sure Celtic are in a stronger position squad-wise now the window is shut." And he's not wrong. Celtic look weaker, particularly in attack, after failing to replace Kyogo Furuhashi, leaving no proven backup striker behind Adam Idah. With Kyogo sold to Rennes, the expectation was that Celtic would bring in another centre-forward. Instead, the club failed to deliver, leaving Idah and Kenny as the only natural strikers in the first-team squad. The only alternative is moving Dyson Maeda through the middle, but that creates another problem. It weakens Celtic's wing options, especially after Luis Palma left on loan to Olympiacos. Celtic did strengthen at left-back, with Jeffrey Schlupp arriving on loan from Crystal Palace. He will provide competition for Greg Taylor, filling the void left by Alex Varley, who made the move to Como, but overall the window has to be viewed as disappointing. A striker was badly needed, and Brendan Rodgers himself made that clear. The failure to get one in could prove costly as Celtic chase the title and prepare for Bayern Munich in the Champions League knockout stage. Sutton's tweet does echo what many Celtic fans are thinking. The squad isn't stronger after this window. Rodgers will now have to make do with what he has, but if injuries hit, this lack of depth could come back to haunt the club. In other news, Michael Stewart has questioned whether Celtic's failure to sign a striker in the January window was a deliberate decision to give Adam Idah a clear run as the club's main number 9 for the rest of the season. However, Celtic fans will likely find his argument hard to accept, given that Brendan Rodgers repeatedly made it clear throughout January that he wanted another striker brought in. Speaking on Premier Sports' Scottish football show, Stewart suggested that Celtic may have chosen not to sign a striker in order to allow Idah to build confidence and establish himself in the team. Is there an argument to be had to say, let's press pause on trying to recruit another top striker in this window or in the next few hours, give Idah the second half of the campaign to really build himself up and then look to strengthen in the summer? If he does get this 3 or 4 month run where he feels he is the main man, then he's got the opportunity to show and say, I am the main guy, I'm the number 9, and whoever else you're bringing in has got to be an incredible level. If they bring someone else in like a Matthias Kvistgarden or whatever just now, it almost dents Idah's confidence before it gets going. The problem with Stewart's argument is that Brendan Rodgers himself was very clear in his desire to bring in another striker. Even after Sunday's win over Motherwell, Rodgers reiterated his wish to add firepower up front. When asked whether Dyson Maeda could play centrally, he refused to see that as a solution, saying that he wanted another striker. Rodgers' comments completely contradict Stewart's theory. Celtic weren't holding off to let Idah settle. They were actively trying to sign a striker but failed to do so. Regardless of Idah's potential, Celtic are now short on options up front. Even if the board did want to give Idah a run, they should have still signed another striker on a 6-month loan to provide competition and cover. Ultimately, Stewart's comments don't line up with reality. If Celtic had a plan to stick with Idah, then why did Rodgers continuously push for a new striker? The failure to strengthen in attack wasn't a calculated decision, it was a failure to get deals done, something that could prove costly in the second half of the season. Celtic fans, what are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let us know down in the comments section below. That does bring us to the end of today's video. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you.